being deported, especially if you're doing something, you're being deported for no reason, and that's the one
Well, you
thing.
never deported for no reason.
Okay.
You are deported because you're in a country illegally.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
But
Yes.
maybe what you wanted to say is you're being deported without committing, um,
Act a crime.
maybe it's a crime to be illegal in
It
somebody's
is a crime.
country.
You're right. It is a crime.
So maybe I don't know how to even put. I mean,
So
it's
that don't
okay to
happen.
protect the I'm gonna be the devil's advocate.
Yeah, we want that.
I'm American too, so I have to defend my country.
I'm
So,
gonna get feeling too, but yes, but
so
I'm saying that
there's
don't.
nothing wrong in defending the integrity of your country.
Yes.
All I'm saying, and I guess what you're trying to say as well, is that even if you do it right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
what.
That's
That's
the
what.
bottom line. Are you now saying? Are you advocating for illegal immigrants?
I'm.
Let's chill. Hey, Chaplet Chillers, welcome again to another epic episode of Chilling with the Chaplins. My name is Lady Caesar, and with me is.
Yeah, it's your boy Coach LJ. What's going on today? What's popping each and every one? Thank you for tuning in to our weekly episodes that we try to do to be more consistent. But yeah, what's going on today, baby?
We continue would like you to subscribe if you have not subscribed. And for those who have, we truly appreciate your support. Make sure you comment. Tell us what you think as we talk about this episode. And also do like and share whatever that intrigues you as part of our episode. So today we are delving into a deeply troubling trend that the US is deporting people to third countries, like third party countries, mostly in Africa, but some are in South America. And my question is, who's saying yes to these deals? Like, how are these countries even accepting this? I just have so many questions in my mind because I just want to know what's really at stake. Why are these countries, are they being forced? Are they getting something in return? Hopefully by the end of this episode you will know the answer to this because I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is a lot of question because we understand a lot of these third world countries. We sometimes we know they are a lot of these countries is corrupt, and so a lot of times they feel like what I do it, but they're looking for something in return to stack their pockets. But a lot of times, these countries get the short end of the stick. So that's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to debunk it. We're trying to unpack and frame the issue. Who's at play and who get the burden of the stick and who which person is they right for doing it if they we're gonna find out
Because
though.
normally countries, like if you get deported, this is the norm. You get taken back to your birth country or your country where you are a citizen of,
Which is the correct thing to do.
which is the right thing to
Right
do.
thing to do.
But right now, some of those countries are not accepting deportees.
Okay.
And so the US is like, well, if you're not accepting them, we're not keeping them. They're not our people. So then they now have started agreements with third party countries who are willing to take in these deportees, whether they are criminals or not. And America is getting them off their hands, and these countries are like, okay, we are welcoming them. But the big question is still posed is that what are these countries getting out of these trade deals? Because it's like a trade deal. It's people. It's to me, it's human trafficking.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because how are you transferring
Nice
a
way to
person
put
to
it.
another country that they don't know of? So the US is sending these migrants to places like South Sudan, Eswatini, which is a neighbor to South Africa, by the way. That's why, for me, it's a biggie because that's my birth country. Rwanda, which is also in Africa, and reportedly Uganda too, although they have been denying it. But hey, the truth shall come out. So we're going to break down who's involved, why they agreed, and what it means for the people of those countries. And even for the deportees, I mean, I can just imagine I'm in the trauma of being deported because that's traumatic. And then I'm being deported to a strange country where I know absolutely nobody there in a completely different continent.
Yes.
That's insane.
That is insane. And that's crazy, especially for the individual that gotta go through that and experience being deported. Especially if you're doing something, you're being deported for no reason. And that's the one
Well,
thing.
you never deported for no reason.
Okay.
You are deported because you're in a country illegally.
Okay, yeah,
right?
I agree.
But
Yes,
maybe what you wanted to say is you're being deported without committing. Um,
act a crime.
maybe it's a crime to be illegal in
It
somebody's
is a crime.
country.
You're right. It is a crime.
So maybe I don't know how to even put it. I understand what you mean,
Yes.
and I hope our viewers
Yeah,
understand
but
what you
the
mean.
thing is, though, because sometimes they could be deporting people, forcefully deporting people. They didn't did nothing wrong. They actually legally in that country, but because they trying to meet a quota, they just uh,
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because
Because some
there
people
are people
there are
that
some
are
people
being
that get deported that was
by error.
by ever. They actually is a citizen of that country, but because they look
And
a certain
we've
way.
seen a lot of ICE grabbing U.S. citizens off the streets.
Yeah, because they look a certain way, because they look. Yeah, you gotta understand. I'm sorry, black and brown people, because we do look alike. So you can mistaken me for somebody from South Sudan, or somebody from
Ethiopia.
India or Ethiopia or Jamaica or Dominican Republic. Mistaken me for somebody that brown skin that looks like me, might not be American, but I'm American. But because we look similar, of course I could look like someone that could be illegal, but I am illegal. And that's the thing. Sometimes, that's what we're going to talk about. Though we want to understand, Lady Caesar, who's accepting U.S. deportees in Africa. Who are these countries? Why are they doing it? Who? Let us know.
So first of all, we have South Sudan because these are like confirmed cases. So there's actually right now there's 4 African countries that have sort of come out, although I mean, I know Eswatini, for example, has confirmed because it was all over the news. South Sudan, it happened summer 2025, so it just recently happened, where 8 men from various countries, which is Cuba, Laos, Mexico, Minor, I might be butchering that name, and Vietnam, were deported from the U.S. to South Sudan after being held on a U.S. base for a bit of for some time.
Okay.
And then secondly, how it came to my attention was when they were deported to Eswatini. Like I said, Eswatini is Swaziland, formerly known as Swaziland, which is a country within South Africa. Okay, very small. So this was mid-July 2025, where 5 migrants from Cuba is always in the mix, Jamaica, Laos, Vietnam, and Yemen was sent to Eswatini. What was disturbing about these men was that they were described as convicted of serious crimes, and actually were held in solitary confinement for a long time,
Okay.
and were then categorized as barbarians, like they were, but because they had not had human contact for a while.
Okay.
So that's disturbing. You can just
Yes.
imagine their interaction with humans after being in solitary for a long time.
Yeah, you could go crazy sometimes. Yeah.
In fact, most people do.
Yes.
They kind of lose their minds. And then the third one was Rwanda in August 2025. So these are actually all just a recent
Yeah,
ones.
this year.
7 deportees arrived under a newly confirmed agreement. Rwanda, what are you doing? But you know why I'm asking? Because Rwanda has done so well.
Yes, they've done so well.
They're doing great, even economically. Like
Yes.
they really coming out of the history of, because they had a bad history of starvation and all that, and just poverty. So now, what? My question is, what does the U.S. have is hanging over these countries? Because I don't think any country in their right mind will take other people's trash, because it's really other people's trash.
Yes.
You know,
I'm on trash, baby. They are human beings.
correct, human beings, but America sees them as unwanted.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I should say that, unwanted.
Unwanted.
So in Rwanda, 7 deportees arrived under a newly confirmed agreement, and Rwanda agreed to accept up to 250 vetted deportees. And I'm doing vetted because who's vetting them and what they're looking for? Providing them with support services. So I guess Rwanda is happy that they're going to be getting something in exchange, because they're going to be providing Rwanda with support services. And so, and then some wish to stay, others want to go home. So it will be, they will I guess, allow them to stay if they want to stay in Rwanda, which is like insane. And then Uganda, media reports by CBS News suggested that Uganda made, this is West Africa, made a deal to accept non-criminal.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want anybody who's been arrested. So they want non-criminal, non-minor deportees, because we're hearing that the Trump administration is even deporting minors
Okay.
to possibly these third world countries. We haven't heard of any being deported yet, but I guess it's part of their plan. If Uganda would say, okay, we don't want any minors, and also preferably people from African countries, which makes sense. At least you're in Africa, you're coming to an African country, so at least it will be easier for you to acclimatize or blend in. Whereas if you're having somebody from Asia, you're having somebody from South America,
Yeah.
it will be kind of hard because it's a completely new environment.
Yes. And my question is, because they say, they want to set people that are non-criminals and non-minors, but how do they know if they non-criminals? Cause is they gonna give them their records?
Well, I mean, the thing is with America, especially for people who entered legally,
Yes.
they have all our information. When you do those biometrics, they have your information.
They have your information.
But now I know that some of the deportees are people who entered illegally.
Yes.
So I guess whatever file they have at that point in time, that's what they're going to use to share with the third party.
Okay. But I think they can also give them false documents as well. You don't think so?
I don't know. You never know. I
think Mexico did
excited.
that to the U.S. I think they're probably for a long time bringing people that was criminals, that were allowing people from Mexico that was criminals into the U.S.
Well, that's Donald Trump's theory, and I don't.
Yeah, that's their theory. And
I don't see it being that accurate, because who's giving you documents? When you're applying to come into a country, you're applying on your own accord. Mm-hmm. Your country is not helping you to do that. Mm. So what do you mean by Mexico is supplying America with false documents? Mm. What do you mean? I'm asking a question.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just
when you're applying for a visa.
Yeah, no.
You personally apply for it. Your country is not supporting you.
Yes, but the question I'm having, could it say is only accepting people that are that they have that are non-criminals, mm-hmm. But how do they know how the vetting process? That's what we're trying to find out.
How do they know is that whatever America has on file about that deportee is what they know of that person. Mm-hmm. So say, for example, they know that the person has been arrested or not.
Yeah.
The person is a criminal or not. Because they were in America. If you are arrested, you'll be in the system. Right?
And now you think they're gonna give them that record? They're gonna give up that record that if they want to get rid of that person, or I guess
they'll take them to another country with exception, just like Eswatini took criminals.
Yes, that's okay. So they won't take it to Uganda. They'll take it to another country.
But the thing is, Uganda is denying this agreement because it's not publicly out there. But rumors have it that so we're gonna say allegedly, because they're citing lack of infrastructure. So I guess they working towards accepting them. So maybe they're working on new prisons or whatever. We don't know.
Okay, and so now the thing we want to talk about is, why these countries agree. And we understand that a lot of times these countries, governments, they weigh potential benefits.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's all about that.
It's all about,
It's all about the bottom line and what are we getting out of it.
What we getting out of it.
And I think it has a lot to do, LJ, with the trade war. What do you think?
It's possible, with the trade war and, a lot of times, now we know a lot of the corrupt, all they're thinking about, the benefit is how much they're going to get and they put it in their pocket.
Just like Uganda.
And not necessarily going to give to the people.
Yeah, or protect their citizens. Yeah, just like Uganda saying, our infrastructure is not up to par. So are they saying to America, fix our infrastructure and then we'll take your deportees? Mm-hmm. That's you now saying, are you advocating for illegal immigrants?
I'm you know what? I'm advocating that they do things the right way.
Due process.
Due process. That's what I'm advocating.
And not deport people to countries that they have no links to.
Yes. Yeah,
But
I
we are
agree.
not saying, because I mean, rules are rules. We are not saying people should stay in a country illegally.
Yes,
We are
no,
not
no, no,
saying people
no.
should not be deported. We are saying deport, of course,
Yes,
but follow due process.
due process and understand that these are still human beings.
But who decided to break the law?
And I get it. Now if they decide to break the law, it's due
It's
process.
breaking the law even entering a country without papers.
I agree, and it's still due process, and it's still you still got to go by even like with the Bible, even even the Bible let us know that do things in decent order, as well as take it to your neighbor and settle the issue first by two,
This
then
is not the Bible. This is
hey, but
real
still,
life.
same thing in real life. You go by the court system, and you and it's innocent until proven guilty. That's the thing. You innocent until proven guilty. But the thing is, they also see it as to show cooperation. To show cooperation from another party, especially when you see somebody like Trump. He ruled with an iron fist, and all they trying to do is keep the peace. Because when you
But
deal
at the
with,
expense of their citizens. That's what that's the worrying
I
fact.
know,
Because these officials, they all up high up there. They don't have to deal with whatever these deportees or the criminals being deported into these innocent countries I have to deal with. So that's where my problem is. Why are you deporting people, especially the criminals, into countries that they have no idea
yeah,
that they don't know of?
yeah.
Take them to countries that at least they have links to. Maybe their
A
mothers from
neighborhood,
there,
yeah, their
or even
father,
neighboring country, because at least it's within the area.
the area.
That's why I like Uganda saying, "Give us African people."
Deportees, yes.
That we can deal with African people,
Yes.
because at least they can understand the culture quickly. You're bringing me somebody from Asia, like
I agree. I agree. Or and whatever country they from, or Jamaica or Mexico or whatever. So but human rights groups warn these countries often lack protections, infrastructure, or due process system to support resettle people safely. And that's what my biggest concern is: the due process and resettling these people safely. Don't just settle and get rid of people because you're trying to meet a quota, because you want people
and
out.
there is a
Yeah,
3,000
yeah.
people quota
Yeah,
per day.
Yeah, that because you want to meet a quota, or that because you're trying to shape America again. Just because you feel like, the white American is not going to be the majority in such and such time, and now you're trying to meet a
I
quota.
mean, it's
That don't
okay to
happen.
protect the I'm going to be the devil's advocate.
Yeah, we want that.
I'm American too, so I have to defend my country.
I'm gonna defend them too, but yes, but
So
I'm saying that
there's
don't.
nothing wrong in defending the integrity of your country.
Yes.
All I'm saying, and I guess what you're trying to say as well, is that even if you do it right.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the
what,
bottom line.
What I'm trying to say. Don't do it because of that. Only that. We understand. Yes, we want to protect our country. We don't want to just let anybody in that should not be here, or stay that should not be here. But do things the right way, because we understand sometimes people that we don't know what kind of agreements the other presidents had that allow all these people to come into our countries, and now just overpopulated, and now you're trying to control it even more, and so you try. But the thing is, they're over here now, so you want to do things the right way. That's what I'm saying.
That's what we know of what's included in these agreements so far. Some of them are temporary and conditional. They are temporary and conditional agreements. None are final agreements like this. It's not like permanent, or rather.
Preliminary agreements, basically.
They either temporary,
okay,
or they have conditions attached to them.
Okay.
So there's no saying, okay, the people are going to stay there forever. So I think it's like a stopgap where the person is removed from United States soil to wait until their original country accept them. So they're like in the middle of waiting for their original country to accept them, because the agreements between these countries, this is what the third party countries, they're saying, Just like Uganda had mentioned, uh, allegedly, because Uganda is denying it. Are they only accepting individuals who are non-criminals and who are not minors? Some countries are saying they will require a vetting process. So I don't know what they're looking for when they're vetting. And some are saying provide us with resources to take care of these people, like housing, training, and monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, they're getting some money in
Yeah.
exchange.
And how many will go to train and house and monitor? Even though they get the money for house and train and monitor, how much is going actually going to that? That's the thing that could be tricky too.
Yeah, because
Especially with
for example, look at Rwanda. Rwanda is promised support via IOM um, and local social services. South Sudan and Eswatini is offered safety assurances through the human rights concerns. Like, I'm yet to follow the Eswatini case because people are concerned because the criminals that they took, I'm calling them criminals because they were convicted and arrested.
yes, and it's so close to South Africa. It's like in the middle of South.
Not even just South Africa. I'm just even concerned about the people of Eswatini themselves.
Yes.
That the country is so tiny. Like, look at how tiny my hand is. Like, they that tiny of a country. And now you bring in 5 criminals who the U.S. does not want. Their own countries don't want. What you saying this country must do with them? Something to think about.
Just to think about it. And so, what is the impact on host countries, baby? Could I see you are very passionate, especially one of the countries that's involved. So, what is the impact on these host countries that's hosting these criminals or non-criminals, these human beings? What is?
I think you already mentioned some of it in our intro, where you said majority of these countries where the U.S. is making these negotiations are usually, they are third world countries, and they most of them will lack resources and infrastructure and support, and even like um, just monitoring, like you were saying, like who's going to monitor these prisoners or these deportees,
and
then
how long they're going to be there,
right? And then exactly, there's a lack of clear framework or guidelines on the people's rights, the deportees, because they're humans, they still have rights, as well as the country's citizens' rights, especially when there's asylum claims are pending. Because some of these deportees have called out us or have been applying for asylum in the U.S.
Okay.
And because the judge decided to dismiss the case, then they're in limbo. Then the U.S. government is able to deport them. So if they're saying that it's dangerous to go back to my home country or the country that I came from because I was applying for asylum in the U.S., then you cannot take them back there. So does that country, what the third party country, become a stop, or does it become now a permanent home? Because they cannot go back to their home country because it's dangerous for them. They already applied for asylum.
Yeah.
So in some cases, these deportees are kept in detained or transit centers with limited oversight, so they can slip between the cracks.
Yes, and get and escape or whatever,
We
and
don't
then be a
know.
part of that country.
We really don't know.
We don't know.
So human rights advocates are really fighting this, and because there's a lot of loopholes, and just sending people to countries they don't know of, it has a lot of red flags, and the countries that they belong to are also saying, "Hey, we don't want them, or we don't need them. They left our country 30 years ago, or whatever their reasons are." But it's wishy-washy. So, what is the impact on deportees' families, you think? Because, like we said, these people, they didn't just drop out of the sky. They are fathers, brothers, sons, for daughters,
Uncles,
mothers, uncles.
nephews.
I haven't seen women yet, but I'm sure there are women too. But
What about grandparents?
we don't know. But they have families. So, what do you think the families are going through with this?
Well, for families, especially when deportees had no ties to these countries, this is devastating. Especially, when you have no ties, and especially if you're leaving a country, even though you made your living in that country, and now you got to leave that country after being there for 20, 30 years. it can be devastating. It can be stressful, to leave the country you made, you're living there, you believed in the American dream and all that kind of stuff. Whatever dream or country that you're in right now, whatever, and you did deported, it can be devastated. It can be isolated. No language, culture, or social support network. So just think about that when you are isolated, because especially when there's a language barrier, there's a culture barrier, there's social support network barrier, uncertainty. Are they allowed to stay? Can they return home?
Where do they stand?
Where do they stand? No. Now, what happened? You start feel like a second class citizen. You started seeing like
third, actually, because you're in a third party country.
Yeah, I guess third, but so you start like, what? Do they really want me, or I pay my taxes? Well, those that are illegal probably didn't pay taxes, but especially with those that did it legally, they get those or seek asylum and paying taxes or whatever. Like, I pay my taxes. I try to live by the books and do it, and so you have this uncertainty. It could be tough, and then trauma. Deportees often fear danger or isolation. This is why they came to that country to seek asylum, because they were running away from danger. They were running away from isolation to go to another country. And some family members may face financial collapse without remittance, and that's important because some family members could be losing an income stream because that family member had to leave that house.
So here's the daunting questions that I still have. Should these third countries deals be subject to oversight by independent human rights observers? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the human rights observers will be able to fill in the gaps where we see loopholes.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should even be happening in the first place, to be honest. So, and also another question is, what safeguards should the U.S. require, like due process, access to lawyers, or human reception environments? Because we hear that, if you go to a country that lacks resources, you're probably going to be in a detention center or a prison that's really poorly, that has a poor infrastructure or environment or whatever.
Yes.
And so how do we even support families whose loved ones end up in countries they've never heard of?
Good question.
Because if we are in the US,
that's a tough one too.
Or your family is, for example, in Jamaica, and you get deported to Africa.
So long way.
What a long way.
What a long way.
So how do you even support your loved ones when they all the way down there?
And don't even know where they're at.
They don't even
in
know
most cases.
So what are the key takeaways you think in this situation as we round up?
Like I said, as we noticed, 4 African countries are involved in this third country deportation deals. South Sudan, Eswatini, thank you,
Rwanda,
Rwanda, and possibly Uganda.
Uganda, come out of the woods.
It's questionable. It's questionable. It's questionable.
Oh, Uganda, why are you disputing the claim?
Yes,
we already know.
It's questionable,
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes, allegedly, Uganda. But and these agreements are often limited. They raise serious human rights issue and resource concerns.
Yeah.
Just having ancestors who dealt with human rights concerns, serious human rights concerns, because of slavery. So I understand, that I don't understand but my ancestors went through that pain, but I understand the struggle because of what we've been facing for so many years and still trying to come out and still got this black hole in us, because not a lot of us, for black people, I think somewhat we still stuck in slavery because of the crime mentality.
I don't think it's even that. It's just a trauma. I mean, we're taking slavery lightly. That was a very traumatic part.
It was. And I would say,
and people might say, but we this generation didn't go through slavery, correct? But the trauma
It lingered. It lingered.
It lingered, but also it gets transferred to the next
The
generation
next
and the next
generation,
generation,
yes.
next generation.
Because
And I can talk about that because my country
apartheid.
went through apartheid, and yes, I was still very young while the country was still bound. And but it's still engraved in my mind what why people did to us. It's
Yeah.
still engraved in my
It's still
mind.
great. And even though with Trump, and this is another topic for another day, possibly, even with Trump trying to get rid of, slavery not happening, it happens. You
It
can't,
was history.
it was history. And so by you trying
It
to,
is history.
by you
Not
trying to
was, 'cause-
eliminate history because maybe you don't want us to talk about it, it's not, and it's so. It happened. Don't treat and you try that's the type of people they always try to hang put it under the rug and say oh it didn't happen or whatever one of slavery or I'm not racist and trying to hide it but it is history and because of even though we haven't experienced it, but our ancestors experienced it, and they told their children, and their children told their children, and that's impacted. And a lot of times, for some of us, it's still ingrained.
Yeah.
It's still ingrained in us.
So before we go off, we just want to remind you to please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate your support. Let's get this algorithmic working and leave a comment. We just also want to remind you that we love our country. And even though we love it so much, we also are human
Mhm.
and have that certain amount of empathy as well towards other
Ubuntu.
human. Yes, because policies are not just aren't just politics. Okay, they affect real lives.
Mm.
These are not robots.
Or animals.
Exactly. So we want to talk more about this and spotlight like local organizations that are helping these people out. Hit us up on the socials. We'd love to hear from you. And we just want to say stay humble and stay human and stay kind, but most importantly, stay informed. And thank you for tuning in. Catch us also on our audio platforms wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there. And see you in the next video. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Deuces. Peace.